Hey everybody, my name is Michelle. I'm a therapist in the Seattle, Washington area, and I'm here today to answer the question of what can we do in our relationship if one of us is more of a spender and one of us is more of a saver, and it's creating a lot of financial issues between the two of us. Well, I first want to start out by saying to the person who asked this question, you're in good company because this is a common dynamic in most, if not all, relationships. It's very rare to find two people who literally view money the exact same way and are going to be on the same page with every financial decision. Even if both of you tend to lean more towards saving or more towards spending, one of you is going to be in that realm, I guess you could say, more than the other. Like, even if you have two savers, one person's probably going to be even more of a saver than the other, for example. So it's really common to be on different pages when it comes to finances, which is why I thought this was a really important question to answer today. And again, this typically comes up in a relationship where one person is the spender and one person's the saver. So I'm going to basically structure this video today to address the savers and then address the spenders. And with both, I'm going to give each of you some tips, 2 tips each on what you can try to do differently to get more on the same page with your partner and to try to validate their point of view a little bit more when it comes to money. So I'm going to start with the savers out there. So savers, and I'll just be upfront, I'm more of a saver, so I can kind of relate to this. It's one of those things where it's very easy to get into a place of like, saving is correct. I am in the right here. My spender partner is being irresponsible. I'm a saver. I've got this down. My way's the best way. It's really easy to get into that mindset, and I want to caution you on that because the reality is that while saving is a good thing, it can be taken too far, and many people do take it too far to where you're living in this place of fear all the time and you're not actually enjoying your life in any way because you're so focused on pinching pennies. So we don't want that to happen. Your spender partner actually has some value here, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. So there are 2 things that I'm going to recommend for savers are, first and foremost, I encourage you to find one thing that you can do each month to, I guess, splurge on your partner a little bit. And this can be anything. Make it work within your budget. And I also want to validate that there are legitimately folks out there who genuinely, once you pay your bills and buy your groceries, there is not any money left. So I want to validate that. And I also know that there are lots of people out there who are living paycheck to paycheck, but also like there's a little bit of wiggle room. You maybe have enough to buy coffee a couple times a week or go out to lunch with a friend every once in a while. Like, you have some wiggle room financially, even if you're not rich by any means. And so if you are one of those people that has like genuinely a little bit of wiggle room, like you do have some money, your urge is to save everything you can, but there's like $10 that you could spend on your partner if you wanted to. I'm going to encourage you to find a way that works for you to splurge on them a little bit. Again, ideally once a month, more if you can. But whether that's buying them flowers or taking them out to dinner and saying, sure, get a glass of wine tonight, or like whatever it is, whatever fits for the two of you as a couple, show your spender partner that, okay, you matter to me, and I'm willing to budge a little bit to demonstrate that to you in some way so that it feels like I'm doing a nice gesture for you, or we're spending maybe a little more money than we normally would, but trying to build memories. So find a way to do this that doesn't make you completely freak out. Again, you don't have to spend a ton of money, but find some way to start showing them, okay, I'll spend a little bit of money each month, and you're worth it to me. And your spender partner will likely appreciate that. So think on that a little bit and find something that feels comfortable, is still within your budget, that you can afford to do for them. That's the first thing that I recommend. And then the second thing that I recommend is that because saving is your jam and you're good at it, and you're likely pretty good with budgeting and figuring out finances and all of that, talk with your partner about something that you guys can save up for together, whether that's a vacation, whether that's a new piece of furniture, whatever it is, find something that you both want to save for. The thing the savers can fall into sometimes is you're tucking money away, which is great, but then it just sits there. Like it's not being tucked away for any specific purpose. Maybe it's being tucked away like in case of emergency, but what are you actually saving for? And that's an important thing to be intentional about. What is this money for? Yes, it's good to have money for a rainy day, but can you also save money in a way that will, again, be something that you and your partner are looking forward to or deciding together? This is a worthy effort for us to save money towards. And your spender partner will likely enjoy being included in that conversation and feeling like the money that you're tucking aside actually has a purpose. That will probably feel pretty good to them too. So those are the two things I recommend for savers. Now, switching over to spenders. So if you are a spender, one thing that I recommend you do first is to figure out that you can how to show your saver partner that you're not reckless with money. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of spenders out there who are genuinely reckless with their money. They don't think before they spend. They just do it, and then they get themselves in a bad financial position where they're not able to pay their bills, and that's kind of the stereotype of a spender. But there are a lot of spenders who they spend, sure, but they spend responsibly. And so it's figuring out how to show your saver partner, look, I am being mindful of how I'm spending my money. I'm not reckless with it, because to a saver partner, even if you're being pretty responsible, it may look reckless to them because it's different for them. So one thing that I recommend is that you find one thing that you can do to show your saver partner that you are capable of cutting back if you need to. Like I said for the savers, this can be really broad with how they might splurge on you. This can be really broad and open for how you might show this to them. Maybe you buy coffee 5 days a week, but maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to cut back to 2. Or maybe when you guys aren't shopping together, you want to buy like the $100 purse, but instead you're like, okay, I'll go for the $70 purse. Like finding little ways here and there that you can start to show your saver partner, that's a tongue twister, that you can and you will cut back on money and that saving is something that you are capable of doing. Try showing this to them in some way so that they can see that. If you eat out 4 nights a week, maybe say, okay, I'm only going to try eating out 3 times this week, and really take some concrete steps to show them that you can and you will save money with them. They will value that more than I can say. So find at least one. If you can find a couple, great, but find at least one way that you can try to show your partner, okay, I can work on saving here and there, even if I'm not going to be saving to the degree that you are saving. That's the first thing that I recommend. So figure out what that looks like for you and what fits. And then the second thing that's really important here is that with your partner who saves, different people save for different reasons, but your saver partner really wants to likely feel very validated, more or less. They want to feel like you can understand why they're saving and what they're doing it for. If you don't know why they're saving, I encourage you to ask them, why is this so important to you that rather than spending $15 here, you tuck it away? What is this for? Because chances are your saver partner is really trying to think about your guys' future. They're trying to really kind of hold it down financially for the two of you. They're well-intentioned. And again, like I mentioned a little bit ago, sometimes they can take it too far. And then it can be easy for you to like have this really negative view of them, of like, they just won't do anything fun. Like they're miserable in their lives because they're not spending any money. And, how do they do this if it's taken to an extreme degree? But if you can find a way to see your saver partner's point of view and validate it, doesn't mean you have to adopt the same point of view, but just to say, hey, I really appreciate you thinking about our future. I really like that because you've saved so much, we do have some money in case something goes down. Like, yeah, our rent is going to be paid for 3 months if something happens, and that's because you've done a good job with the finances to get it to that place, and I appreciate it. Give them some validation because they likely really want to hear it. So figure out for yourself why you think your partner is actually doing this. Maybe they've shared it with you, maybe they haven't. But if you have a pretty good idea of why they're a saver and what their purpose of it is for the two of you in your partnership, validate that. and give them some praise for their efforts to do so. And hopefully you'll see them maybe making some changes, and then you can make some changes too. I encourage you to show this video to your partner, at least talk about the ideas within it, because when both people are making a change, it's far more effective than just one person alone to make sure that you both are adjusting a little bit to get on the same page when it comes to finances. If you have a question about love or relationships, send it to me in an email, nextchapter.michelle@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.